Yo, what's good? I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Sonic fan game, Sonic Galactic. So, I don't know if you guys, have heard of Sonic Galactic, but, if you're a Sonic fan, you might have heard. And, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's a really, really good game. And if you haven't played it, then you're definitely missing out. Now, the first thing I really want to talk about is the gameplay. So, as for the controls, it works pretty much the same as Sonic Mania. So, you know that there's the drop dash, the spin dash, yeah, all that stuff that was in Sonic Mania, right? But what's astounding to me is the fact that this team, right, they were able to pull off, actually having Sonic control good, which, it might sound a little bit crazy, but I played a lot of, 2D fan games, right? And they didn't really control that well. And getting the control down, I already know, like, that's definitely really hard. I've been into game dev myself, so I already know that stuff takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of work. Now, as for the stages, man, oh man, the aesthetic in this game is actually insane. Like, bro, just look at this. You can't tell me this doesn't look fire. The way that I would describe the look in this game would be like that. It has kind of a Sonic Mania glossy type of look, if that makes any sense. And honestly, for the art direction, I think that they totally nailed it. Alright, so the first stage that you're greeted with when playing Sonic Galactic is, of course, Verdant Isle. The first act is, it's kind of, that type of green hill type of zone, if that makes any sense, because, it's on land, right? But here's what I like is the fact that in the second act, they actually switch it up. And for the, the start of the second act, you actually do start off in a jungle type of scene, like a scenery. And the little details like that is just what makes it so easy to appreciate this game. You can really tell that, this whole team just put a lot of effort into this game, down to the art, the gameplay, the music. We're gonna get into that later. But yeah, anyways. So the second zone is Coral Garden Zone, and it's kind of like that Hydro City or Hydrocity, whatever way it's pronounced. It's like that type of zone, right? It's your water zone. It's your water zone, right? Because in every Sonic game, there has to be that one water zone. I get it. And a lot of times, the water zones in Sonic games usually aren't that good. But in this case, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, because I was getting a lot of speed in this zone, as you'll see. Also, once again, I just can't stress enough how beautiful this zone looks when you're underwater. Now, as for the second act, what I really like that it does is that it kind of takes that concept with Hydrocity or Hydro City, and the majority of it is on land, but there are still some sections that are underwater. And I've always kind of admired that in Sonic games. And once again, if you're not trash like me, if you can't tell by this gameplay, yeah, you can get a lot of speed. And the amount of speed you can get is low-key crazy. Now, as for the last zone, there's Luminosity Zone. And honestly, it kind of reminded me of Studiopolis, if that makes any sense. Or Carnival Night, one of those two, like a mix of those two, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I have to keep on saying this, but the aesthetic here, they just knocked it out the park, honestly, man. I think this zone is just a really good way to cap off the demo. Obviously, the game is not finished, but it's the only second demo, and it's already looking amazing. So last but not least, we will be talking about the music. So the first actual track that you'll hear is the tutorial when you're in the tutorial stage. And that music is like very like calming, soothing. It just really fits the vibe of that, background and whole entire aesthetic. After that, the next main track that you'll hear in the game is, of course, Verdant Isle Act 1. And I think that this track really does get the job done for a opener stage. And that's just exactly what you want with a fan game like this. Now, the second act of this stage actually is more of a jungle type of setting. And I think that the track actually does kind of give off a jungle type of feel to it. As for all the other stages, I would say that they all do the same. Like, the music really does fit really well with the game and the aesthetic of it. However, what I do want to say is that my favorite track in the whole entire game is actually the special stage music. And I'm going to just play that real quick so you guys can hear. But yeah, as you guys can see, music is great, like I said. I mean, what else more is there to really say about it? Alright, so the last thing I will be talking about is the story. So for this game, the story is actually pretty simple. So the story involves Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and it takes place on the mysterious Illusion Island. So the thing with this island is that it only appears once every 10 years, and it holds secrets which are actually tied to an ancient meteor with powerful energy. Not only that, but it's rumored to contain a force beyond anything known. So basically what happens next is after there's an explosion of the Death Egg, if you remember that, and Sonic and his, friends, Tails, Knuckles and whatnot, they end up taking a holiday, just chilling. However, they actually end up running into Dr. Eggman, seeking for a method to, replenish his army, get his army, back on its feet and whatnot. And then they discover the island's hidden potential. So basically what happens next is he ends up teaming up with Dr. Menace to capture this energy and to restore his army as well. So after receiving a challenge from Menace, Sonic decides to stop everything that he is currently doing because he believes Eggman is involved. So Sonic and his friends, Tails and Knuckles, right? They have to collect the 7 Galactic gems along the route in order to save the world. And that pretty much sums up the story. So in my opinion, I think that the story is pretty interesting, I mean, obviously the story isn't gonna be the main focus when it comes to, fan games, but I know that some people care about it more deeply than other people do, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a Sonic game, playing it for the gameplay, just to have a good time and enjoy it. And, I just think that the story, it doesn't mess it up in a bad way or anything. So, yeah. Also, another minor topic that I want to bring up is the difficulty. And difficulty is very important with Sonic games, right? Because it can either make or break a game like, Sonic Forces. But the difficulty here is actually pretty balanced, if I must say. The hardest part of the game that I struggled with personally, it would definitely have to be the boss battles, even the mini boss battles. And maybe that's just because I'm not really good at games, like Sonic games, as much as I used to be. Especially 2D games, I'm better at the 3D games though. But yeah, I just don't play the games as much. So yeah, if you don't play the games, even then I still wouldn't worry too much about the difficulty if it's your first time actually getting into this game. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. That pretty much sums up all I have to say about Sonic Galactic. So yeah, if you haven't played this game yet, don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop what you're doing right now and go play that game because I mean, come on, by now you should just know. Anyways, that's all I have to say, and peace.